Did you know that everything we think we know about the origins of the Ashkenazi Jews might be wrong? For centuries, historians believed they came from Eastern Europe, but new research is changing everything. Could their true roots be hidden in ancient places we never expected? This mystery goes deep, and the answers may surprise you. To uncover the full story and the shocking truths, stay tuned and watch this video till the end. The Ashkenazi Jews are a unique and vibrant community with roots that stretch back over 1,000 years. They are more than just a group defined by religion. They are a culture, a story of resilience, survival, and unimaginable contributions to the world. But to understand who they are, we must take a journey back in time, a journey that reveals not only their struggles, but also their extraordinary strength. At the heart of the Ashkenazi Jewish identity is their deep connection to Judaism. Their religious practices, traditions, and customs have shaped the very fabric of their lives. With prayers, rituals, and celebrations that resonate through generations, they have held on to their faith through thick and thin. The essence of Ashkenazi culture is tied to a commitment to learning, to questions that delve into the mysteries of existence, and to the unwavering pursuit of knowledge. This was a community that, despite facing persecution and hardship, never lost sight of the importance of education and intellectual growth. The name Ashkenazi itself carries a sense of mystery and history. It comes from the Hebrew word for Germany, Ashkenaz, but their roots stretch far beyond the borders of Germany. The Ashkenazi Jews' history is one of migration, adaptation, and survival. Their story begins in the Middle Ages, when Jewish communities started to move westward from the Middle East and Central Asia. Over time, they found refuge in parts of what is today Germany, France, and eventually Eastern Europe. For centuries, the Ashkenazi Jews lived within the borders of Eastern Europe, with a particular concentration in Poland, Lithuania, and Russia. These lands, often turbulent with wars and changing borders, were home to a community that was both marginalized and revered. Ashkenazi Jews became known for their distinct customs, including the Yiddish language, a rich blend of Hebrew, German, and Slavic roots that echoed their diverse past. Yiddish became the heartbeat of the community, a language that carried with it the stories, jokes, and songs of a people who refused to be silenced. But the migration of the Ashkenazi Jews wasn't just a matter of geographical movement. It was a journey of survival. They moved not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Over the centuries, Jewish communities were often faced with persecution and violence. They were cast out of Spain, expelled from other parts of Europe, and forced to live in ghettos. Yet, despite the hardship, the Ashkenazi Jews forged a life. They became skilled in trades, developed thriving communities, and maintained a commitment to preserving their faith. Through war, plague, and famine, they never lost their spirit. Their contributions to the world are immeasurable. In the world of literature, Ashkenazi Jews have written some of the most influential works in modern history. Figures like Sholem Aleichem, Isaac Bashevis Singer, and Elie Wiesel have captured the imagination of readers worldwide, chronicling the joys and sorrows of Jewish life, often blending humor with profound philosophical depth. Their works serve as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is beauty in storytelling, and the human spirit is capable of resilience. In the realm of science, the Ashkenazi Jews' legacy is also extraordinary. The world has benefited from the brilliance of countless Jewish scientists, including the likes of Albert Einstein, whose theories forever altered the course of physics. The intellectual prowess of the Ashkenazi community is not just about individual achievement. It's a collective history of striving for excellence in the face of adversity. This community has fostered an environment where knowledge was passed down from one generation to the next. And it is through this dedication to learning that Ashkenazi Jews have left an indelible mark on the world. Yet, even as they contributed to the world's progress, the Ashkenazi Jews endured unimaginable suffering. The horrors of the Holocaust wiped out millions of their people, forever altering the course of Jewish history. Despite the devastation, the community's will to live and thrive endured. They rebuilt their lives, and the world watched as they took the lessons of the past and used them to shape a brighter future. The Ashkenazi Jews proved that even in the face of darkness, hope could still shine through. Their legacy is not just about survival, but about thriving. Today, the Ashkenazi Jews are scattered around the globe, from Israel to the United States and beyond. They carry with them a history rich in both triumph and tragedy, but one that continues to inspire and shape the future. They are more than just a community. They are a testament to the power of resilience, culture, and the human spirit. The Ashkenazi Jews are a living, breathing story, a story that stretches across continents and centuries, through pain and joy, through loss and triumph. To know who they are is to understand the power of survival, the strength of faith, and the importance of community. Their culture, their faith, and their contributions to the world will continue to resonate for generations to come, ensuring that their legacy is never forgotten. The Ashkenazi Jews' origins have long been understood through a lens shaped by centuries of history, migration, and survival. For many, the image of Ashkenazi Jews has been synonymous with Eastern Europe. This belief has become so ingrained in our collective consciousness that when we think of this group, we often think of them as a people who've lived for generations in the heart of Poland, Lithuania, Russia, and the surrounding areas. Their story has been woven into the tapestry of Eastern European history, and for the longest time, it seemed like a clear, undisputed narrative. It's easy to see why the connection to Eastern Europe feels so natural. For over 1,000 years, the majority of Ashkenazi Jews lived in these regions, creating rich, vibrant communities filled with culture, religion, and tradition. From the cobblestone streets of Krakow to the bustling markets of Vilnius, these cities became home to millions of Jewish families who carried with them a legacy of resilience and faith. The very name Ashkenazi has been linked to this region. Derived from the Hebrew word for Germany, Ashkenaz, the term initially described Jews who lived in what is now Germany. But as their presence spread eastward, so too did the term, and over time it became associated with the Jewish communities of Eastern Europe. This historical context has shaped how the world views Ashkenazi Jews, as a group defined by their experiences in a specific geographical region, with a cultural identity that's deeply tied to Eastern Europe. Yet, within this seemingly fixed image lies a more complex truth. The idea that Ashkenazi Jews are solely an Eastern European phenomenon has for centuries been the dominant narrative. It's a story of perseverance and survival against overwhelming odds, of a people who faced countless persecutions, yet still flourished in the face of adversity. They adapted to their new surroundings, blending their Middle Eastern heritage with the influences of their host nations. They became part of the fabric of Eastern European life, contributing to the region's intellectual, cultural, and artistic movements. But the story doesn't end here. For all the strength and spirit of the Ashkenazi Jews in Eastern Europe, there's an unsettling truth that many have long overlooked. What if their origins were never just rooted in Eastern Europe? What if the Ashkenazi Jewish identity is far more complex and multifaceted than we ever imagined? It is in this space of uncertainty that new research and discoveries are forcing us to reconsider everything we thought we knew. What seemed like an undeniable historical narrative, the link between the Ashkenazi Jews and Eastern Europe, has recently been challenged in ways that make us question the very foundations of this belief. We've long accepted the story of their migration from the Middle East to Europe, but could their true origins lie elsewhere? Could there be an untold chapter to the Ashkenazi story that we've missed, hidden in the folds of ancient history? In recent years, genetic studies have started to paint a startlingly different picture of the Ashkenazi Jews. These studies suggest that their genetic heritage might not be as tied to Eastern Europe as once believed. Instead, some of the most surprising findings suggest that the Ashkenazi Jews' ancestry could trace back much further, to the ancient Mediterranean and Middle Eastern regions. The very foundation of what we thought was their identity, their connection to Eastern Europe, might only be part of a much larger story. For many, these revelations are hard to process. After all, how can a group that has been so deeply connected to a region for centuries suddenly find themselves at the center of a debate about their true origins? This new evidence forces us to reckon with a long-standing belief that has been passed down through generations. But at the same time, it's a call to dig deeper, to seek the truth even when it challenges everything we thought we knew. The question now becomes, what does this new understanding of Ashkenazi Jewish origins mean for the community, their culture, and their identity? It's a question that stirs emotion because it speaks to something fundamental about who we are as people. The desire to know where we come from, to understand the full scope of our history. And for the Ashkenazi Jews, this quest for understanding is not just about the past. It's about preserving a future that honors their roots, no matter where they might truly lie. To explore this new narrative and to understand how it all connects, we must look beyond the surface and dive deep into the history that has shaped the Ashkenazi Jews. The answers lie not only in ancient texts and modern genetic studies, but in the hearts and minds of those who have carried this legacy forward, against all odds. To uncover the full story, we must journey further into the mystery of their origins. Stay with us as we unravel the secrets of the Ashkenazi Jews and discover how their past holds the key to their future. For generations, the story of the Ashkenazi Jews has been firmly grounded in the soil of Eastern Europe. Their legacy, written across centuries of survival and resilience in countries like Poland, Russia, and Lithuania, seemed clear. But as we begin to dig deeper into their past, new revelations are shaking the very foundations of what we thought we knew. What if the Ashkenazi Jews' story isn't just one of survival in Eastern Europe? What if the truth about their origins reaches much further back in time, crossing borders and centuries, touching parts of the world we never imagined? Recent genetic studies have started to challenge the long-standing narrative of Ashkenazi Jewish origins, offering a view that is nothing short of groundbreaking. For decades, the accepted story was simple. Ashkenazi Jews are the descendants of Jewish communities who migrated to Eastern Europe from the Middle East, eventually shaping their unique identity through centuries of life in the ghettos of Eastern Europe. However, new research is painting an entirely different picture, one that defies the familiar boundaries of this narrative. What if the Ashkenazi Jews' ancestral roots trace back not just to the ancient lands of Israel or the Middle East, but to regions in the Mediterranean and even the wider expanse of Europe? The genetic evidence now points to connections between Ashkenazi Jews and ancient populations that extend far beyond the familiar territories of Eastern Europe. The studies reveal traces of genes linked to the Middle East, but they also uncover surprising genetic markers tied to Mediterranean and Southern European regions. This is where things start to get truly fascinating. One of the most striking revelations is the genetic connection to ancient populations from the Levant, the very region where the Jewish people first emerged thousands of years ago. However, the twist comes when the studies suggest that Ashkenazi Jews didn't just inherit their genes from their Middle Eastern ancestors. They likely mixed with Mediterranean, Roman, and other ancient populations over the centuries, particularly through migration routes that brought them to the heart of Europe. What does this mean for the Ashkenazi Jewish identity? For many, it's a startling revelation that challenges everything they thought they knew about their history. The idea that Ashkenazi Jews are primarily Eastern European has been so entrenched that these new findings almost feel like a distant echo of a forgotten past. But in truth, this diversity of origins is a reflection of the complex, interconnected history of the Jewish people themselves. A history marked by migrations, intermarriages, and the blending of different cultures over millennia. This surprising twist leads us to a deeper understanding of how the Ashkenazi Jewish community came to be. The fact that their genetic lineage is far more diverse than previously believed doesn't diminish their identity. Instead, it enriches it. Ashkenazi Jews are not just the product of one migration or one group's influence. They are a mosaic of influences, shaped by centuries of movement, survival, and cultural exchange. The ancient migrations of Jews from the Middle East set the stage, but it was centuries of intermarriage and mixing with different populations that created the unique genetic makeup of the Ashkenazi Jews. It's a reminder that human history is never as simple as we often think. People are not just shaped by one place, one time, or one set of experiences. Instead, they are the product of countless moments of interaction, of shared cultures and bloodlines that transcend borders and defy categorization. These findings also suggest that Ashkenazi Jews, like many other ethnic groups, have always been part of a larger global story. They were never isolated in Eastern Europe, confined to the ghettos, or limited to a single region. Their roots stretch further, intertwining with the histories of the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and Europe, creating a lineage that is as vast and intricate as the world itself. This new understanding of Ashkenazi Jewish heritage invites us to reconsider what it means to be part of this community. It's not just about a geographic location or a single ancestry. It's about a shared history of survival, adaptation, and evolution across time and space. The Ashkenazi Jews, it turns out, are the product of a much richer and more diverse story than we ever thought possible. As we reflect on this surprising twist, one thing becomes abundantly clear. History is not a fixed narrative. It is constantly evolving, driven by new discoveries that challenge our perceptions and push us to think more deeply about the past. And as we continue to explore the complex roots of the Ashkenazi Jews, we are reminded that no story is ever fully told, and the mysteries of the past are always waiting to be uncovered. As the layers of history are peeled back, the truth about the Ashkenazi Jews' origins becomes even more elusive, surrounded by mystery and speculation. While new genetic studies have begun to challenge the long-standing narrative of their Eastern European roots, the question remains: where did the Ashkenazi Jews truly come from? Theories abound, each one trying to piece together fragments of history, DNA, and migration patterns to uncover the truth. One of the most fascinating and debated theories about their origins is the Khazar theory. For centuries, the Khazars were a semi-nomadic Turkic people who ruled a vast kingdom in what is now southern Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan. According to this hypothesis, the Khazars converted to Judaism in the 8th or 9th century, a phenomenon that some researchers argue might have played a role in the formation of Ashkenazi Jewish identity. Some even suggest that the Ashkenazi Jews are descendants of the Khazars, with their conversion to Judaism having a profound influence on the genetic and cultural makeup of the Ashkenazi population. The theory remains highly controversial, as many historians and geneticists dismiss it, arguing that there's little evidence to support the idea that the Ashkenazi Jews are largely of Khazar descent. But the theory does raise an important question. Could the Ashkenazi Jewish community have been shaped by more than one wave of migration? Could the Khazars, who were not originally of Semitic origin, have played a part in shaping the unique genetic heritage of the Ashkenazi Jews? While the Khazar theory captures the imagination, it is far from the only explanation. In fact, the genetic and historical evidence points to a more complex and nuanced story. New research suggests that Ashkenazi Jews, like many Jewish communities, have their origins in the ancient Mediterranean and Middle Eastern regions. Their genetic makeup reveals traces of ancestry that point to the Levant, the area that is now Israel, Palestine, Jordan, and surrounding regions. This genetic link to the Middle East offers a deeper understanding of their origins, suggesting that the Ashkenazi Jews are not merely the product of migrations into Eastern Europe, but rather an ancient people whose roots can be traced to the very land where Judaism was born. But the connections don't stop there. Some theories propose that Ashkenazi Jews are also linked to ancient Mediterranean populations. Genetic studies reveal that Ashkenazi Jews share markers with populations from southern Europe, particularly Italy and Greece. This suggests that the Ashkenazi Jews' story isn't just about migration from the Middle East to Eastern Europe. Instead, it could be a tale of cultural exchanges, of intermarriage with Mediterranean peoples, and of a people shaped by diverse influences over centuries. The idea that the Ashkenazi Jews are a blend of Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, and even European influences is both beautiful and complex. It reflects the true nature of Jewish history, which has always been one of migration, adaptation, and survival. From the time of the ancient Israelites, the Jewish people have never been confined to one region. Their history is one of movement and connection, influenced by the cultures they encountered along the way. These theories challenge the fixed narrative we've held about the Ashkenazi Jews. While we have long believed that their roots were firmly planted in Eastern Europe, the evidence suggests that their identity is the result of a much more intricate and multifaceted history. The Khazar theory, the Mediterranean and Middle Eastern connections, and other genetic findings all point to the fact that the Ashkenazi Jews are not defined by a single place or a single origin. They are instead the product of centuries of migration, blending, and adaptation. As we explore these theories, one thing becomes clear. The true origins of the Ashkenazi Jews cannot be reduced to a simple answer. They are a people who have been shaped by time, by place, and by the complex web of human history. The more we learn, the more we realize that their story is not one of isolation, but one of deep, interconnected roots that span the globe. As we unravel the mysteries of the Ashkenazi Jews' true origins, we are confronted with a deeper, more profound question. What do these surprising new findings really mean for our understanding of Jewish history, culture, and identity? For centuries, we believed we knew where the Ashkenazi Jews came from. We built our narratives around Eastern Europe, grounded in the belief that their story began there, that their culture was shaped by the landscapes of Poland, Russia, and Lithuania. But now, as we face the possibility of a more complex, layered past, one with deep ties to the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and even beyond, the implications are far-reaching and full of emotional weight. These findings force us to confront the possibility that the story we've known, the story we've passed down through generations, is incomplete. The revelation that Ashkenazi Jews might not be solely of Eastern European descent is not just an academic shift. It's a challenge to the very essence of their identity. For those who have lived with the assumption that their roots are planted firmly in Eastern Europe, this is not just a discovery, it's a disruption. It's the unraveling of a long-held belief, the questioning of what it truly means to belong to a community, to carry its history, its stories, and its traditions. But rather than diminishing the Ashkenazi Jewish identity, these findings have the potential to enrich it. Instead of a singular, linear narrative, the Ashkenazi Jews' heritage appears as a beautiful, intricate tapestry, woven from diverse cultures and histories. The new genetic evidence points to a more complex reality. They are the descendants of ancient peoples who traveled and mixed with various populations throughout the centuries. This broader view of their origins brings new depth to their culture and their heritage. They are a people who have not just survived, but adapted and thrived through an interconnected, ever-changing world. For the Jewish community itself, these findings have sparked debates that reach far beyond academia. Historians, scientists, and Jewish individuals from all walks of life are now grappling with what this means for their collective understanding of Jewish history. Some embrace the idea that the Ashkenazi story is more expansive, a reflection of the rich diversity that has shaped them. Others, however, feel a sense of loss or confusion. How do we reconcile this new reality with the long-standing narrative we've always known? What is clear, however, is that these findings open the door to deeper conversations about Jewish identity. They invite us to see the Ashkenazi Jews not just as a people defined by a single place or a single history, but as part of a global, interconnected story. They challenge us to ask, how does our understanding of heritage evolve when we learn that our roots may stretch across continents and centuries? And how can this new understanding strengthen the bonds of community, both within the Ashkenazi Jewish population and beyond? As we journey through the layers of history, it becomes clear that the Ashkenazi Jews' origins are not as straightforward as we once believed. Each discovery, each revelation, peels back another layer, leaving us with more questions than answers. What does this mean for our understanding of the past? How does it change the way we view a community that has faced centuries of hardship and triumph? Could it be that we've only just begun to uncover the full story of the Ashkenazi Jews? The mystery deepens with every new finding, challenging long-held beliefs and urging us to reconsider everything we thought we knew. The more we learn, the more we realize that their story is far from over, and there is so much more hidden beneath the surface. Stories of ancient migrations, unspoken connections, and a history that transcends borders. So, are we ready to rewrite the history books on the Ashkenazi Jews? Or is there still much more to uncover about their mysterious origins? The journey to understanding who they truly are is just beginning, and the answers are waiting for those willing to look deeper. As we peel back the layers of time, we begin to understand that history is not just about dates and facts. It's about stories, connections, and the legacy we carry forward. If you've been fascinated by the twists and turns of this story, don't stop now. There's so much more to explore, more mysteries to solve, and more revelations waiting to be uncovered. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, watch the full video, and like it to show your support. Dive deeper with us, and let's uncover the truths that history has kept hidden for so long. Stay curious, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay with us on this incredible journey.